dragging this bitch. Alright. Hello there, I'm Lenek. I've been working for the past week on a new build for the Warrior, just to make stuff a bit more interesting, since we are a bit of, quite late into the league. So I'm running right now Herald of Ice and Wind Dancer, because there's quite an interesting tech shown by, I think it was King Congo, and one more other YouTuber, I don't remember. But basically, we don't use this for stack invasion or anything like that. We basically use this to explore the whole screen, as you may have seen on the map demonstration. What this does, it stacks up 3 times to 3 stages, and it basically does more damage per stage. So if we go here, it's currently at almost 40,000, 40k, and I believe each stage, I'm not quite sure how much more damage, I think it was 40%. 50% more damage per stage. So on 3 stages, you have more AoE, more damage, the whole screen explodes if anything touches you. Why is this good? Because, well, we have, for example, melee mobs, we can quite easily, kill them as we are a melee class. What about range? Like those archers fuckers that keep on shooting us. Well, if they shoot us, they will just die. They get punished for attacking us because they will just explode. So I'll go for now through the gear, what I'm using. Of course, we have the constricting command. It is, I'm sorry to say, it's just too much defenses and too much damage it gives for just couple points. If you're gonna purchase this item, best to use 2 sockets, just so you know, if you're lacking any resistance or you need life or anything else. I did change my weapon from the previous builds. Does have a little bit more damage. I don't use any more skill speed, just full damage rune. Of course, +6 to attack skills, because this scales also our Wind Dancer, because it has this node here, attack, and Herald of Ice also has attack. On top of that, this one has Wind Dancer has melee, so if you get any melee skills on your gloves, amulet, this will also increase the damage. It's quite a shame that this one doesn't have it, but either way, still good. Drink, I haven't changed it from the previous builds. It's still the same. It's just it's a good ring. It does give me evasion rating that I do convert to armor. Gives me a decent amount of resistance, strength, life, some damage. This one was a big purchase. This is a new amulet. I'm quite happy about this because equipment and skills gems have 15% reduced attributes, which if we are using skills and, for example, Herald that uses Dex and Int, well, we don't have to waste so much point into Int and Dex. We can put that all into Strength, for example. 50 Spirit is also great, as we are using a lot of support Spirit skills. Life, percent life, because we are playing Warrior, it's the only defensive mechanic we have. Also, we do have armor, but yeah. So this was a big purchase. My boots were also a big purchase. Gives me a ton of movement speed, armor. Armor applies to elemental damage also. Some chaos resistance and lighting. The channel block is fantastic for our health. I'll explain that when we go through the skills. But 50% more fire damage, which is converted to cold damage, basically. And on top of that, have extra physical damage. That 25% extra physical damage also gets converted to cold damage. I'll explain that later. Now, the pole circle sapphire ring, I can't pronounce it. Basically, this allows us to chain explosions because we don't have to completely freeze the enemy, as they will be chilled and they will basically be shattered and explode. So this is what makes the whole big wide screen explosion with our Wind Dancer. My chest piece hasn't been changed from the previous build, it's still the same, some decent resistance, could be better, but does have 2100 armor, that's quite good. My belt, well, resistances, I don't need strength as I have such amount of reduction to attributes, so just went for resistances. Gloves, I think I haven't changed them. They're still the same, some attack speed, strength, life, 2 melee skills. So that's the whole section. I do use the stun charm. I don't really think I do need that. With the amount of armor I have right now, which is 70k, I do have a short clip that I'll run you over. See how I'm going from 41,000 to almost 70. Okay, here's the clip. So yeah, I don't really think we need stun charm as we get basically from this little note here. Uh, gain additional stun. Gain additional stun equal to 30% of your item armor. Well, item armor, but still basically with this doesn't matter. We don't need, I think, the stun charm. But what we do is the if we do become frozen, as some mobs do have like the lower our resistance of cold and other stuff, we might get sometimes frozen. I do run a rarity charm as I'm playing warrior. I don't have literally zero rarity on my gear, so this I don't know. I might change this because either way, if I'm running maps that have 150 rare mobs increase and 150 rarity, so I don't think I need the 15%. I might as well get something better. So that's the gear, that's the charms. Now up to the skills. Now keep in mind, I do not use the raised shield. Also, I don't use the magma barrier, but I have put 5 green socketed support jewels here and one here. Why? Because I do use this little note here that gives me 5% the maximum life increase if I have 10 red support gems and 5% movement speed, which is quite handy for just nothing. And it does give me a little bit, attributes, strength, other stuff. So I don't use this, and also I don't use the magma barrier. But why do I have the magma barrier? Well, basically, it gives me 30% block chance for free. That's I have, turned it on. Nothing else. I don't use the skill. I will never use the skill. I only care about the 30% of block chance, because thanks to this, I don't have to waste like 3 points on my passive skill to get the block chance to 50%. So it is quite handy. So our main clear is, well, Mace Strike. Price. It's quite honestly good. I did try Bone Shatter, and I did put Atalui gem and did increase the cost of the skill, and it's worse than Mace Strike. It didn't come close with the amount of damage. I don't know, maybe if I was dual wielding on this build, maybe then, but Mace Strike is quite powerful. So, Embitter. Why am I using Embitter? If supported skills will gain extra damage of any type other than cold, they gain extra cold damage instead. So, our weapon that gives us extra physical damage, our shield that gives us extra fire damage, well, that's extra cold damage instead, which allows us to proc Herald of Ice much more because we're doing cold damage. Well, in total, it's not all cold damage because we do have some physical, but either way, we do have a bit more cold damage than physical. So, Embitter. Armor break, we use armor break to break armor for our scavenging plating, and on top of that, it does give us a endurance charge. What do you do with the endurance charge? Well, I do have charge infusion. What this does, 20% more defenses while you have an endurance charge. That's why I go from 40,000 armor to 70. That's almost double my armor just for, to the spirits, support spirits. it's nothing. If you're buying yourself an amulet that has 50 spirit, you can literally get that with no problem. And yeah, furthermore, Gold Attunement, Ancestral Call is quite handy, as we basically do like 2 copies of Mace Strike. This gives us a bit more AoE. And I do have Rage on it also. Just, as I'm Mace Striking all the time, might as well, stack up some Rage, do a bit more damage. No problem. So, to our boss killer is Earth Shatter. That's going to be on weapon set number 2. And I'm running on this branching fissures. Basically what this does, it creates, instead of 1 fissure, you see there's like 3 fissures next to each other. Does a bit more less damage, but overall you have more fissures, so you're gonna just do much more damage. Even though it does say you lose damage. Well, about the AoE, we don't really care. First of all, well, we don't use this to boost our damage with the Ancestral Boost. What we use this with to boost our damage with Cost Multiplier for our Artillery Gem. This is what I'm running. I'm running also Heft, gives a bit more maximum physical damage and has a multiplier cost. Close combat, also more damage, multiplier cost. Why I'm running multiplier cost? Because of this, which support skills gain 2% of damage as extra physical damage per 10 life cost. So the higher the cost of Earth Shatter, the more physical damage I'm gonna get, and the more I'm gonna heal. Because as the skill costs more, I'm gonna heal up more. So this is the setup. It does say 105,000, but that's 105,000 when I place the Earth Shatter, the fissures. But the explosion does 450,000. And that's just 1 fissure that I put up, and I can put up to 6 of these. So that's quite a lot of damage, and honestly, I don't know if there's any other skill for Warrior, because I did try Rolling Slam, and it doesn't even come close with the damage. Rolling Slam would be good if I was running 100% of Aftershock and a dual wield, then yeah, that would make sense. But if I'm running a setup that I want to be tanky and I want to do some damage also with the shield, then Earth Shatter is your skill for the bosses. Infernal Cry, we do have cooldown recovery too, just to have it pop up much sooner. We do have second wind, as we, for example, if we do get bursted by a boss, and there are some really hard-hitting ones, especially after the patch changes, so-called now powerful bosses. Honestly, even with 70,000 of armor and almost 3,200 life, I will still get one-shotted. So if I do get like bursted that I almost die, popping this, I do recover some amount of life, 2%, but yeah, it's always something. The Raging Cry grants me a bit of rage when I fight in a boss, always handy. 25% do not consume the empowerment. I don't know if I really need this one, but it's whatever, just red gems to have like life. Fire mastery, so this makes it basically that I get 60% more fire damage. Without this, I believe it's 59. Yeah, it's 59, so just 1% of damage. It's always something. Wind Dancer. We do run Embitter to convert everything to cold damage, which, thanks to that, makes the exploding chain with Herald of Ice. Cold penetration, very handy. If you have a bit more currency, you can put Rakyata over here, but I still think cold penetration is good. Well, it is better for the budget version. Elemental Armament, 25 more elemental damage. Why not? More damage. Funny part, I'd still run Armor Break 3 here to get armor break and enduring charges. If I feel like lazy, I'm watching like a movie or something, I just want to run around and basically just do nothing, not press any button. Well, I'm still stacking up armor, so I'm not gonna die or anything, and still killing mobs, so this is quite handy. On top of that, Life Leech is very useful, as this is the only source on this build that I have Leech on my weapon and Leech from Wind Dancer, as these are the only two things that makes my life recover, because I don't have any uh, percent regen or like life recovery on kill, nothing like that, because all the spirit goes for the support gems over here. So very handy. And on top of that, if I'm even life leech by supporter skills is not removed at full life. So if I'm killing mobs and I'm full life, I'm still technically healing thanks to this. So, Herald of Ice. You have over here Elemental Armament 2, more damage. Elemental Focus, more damage. Overreach. Why I'm using this instead of something like a different AoE? Well, I believe it does say here that, yeah, it does say. The explosion can't be evaded. So it doesn't matter if I'm using this, the 80% less accuracy rate, and it doesn't apply to Herald of Ice, because the Herald of Ice cannot miss, because attacks from Herald of Ice can't be avoided. So it's just 40% more area of effect for free. And better, have explained why. Basically more damage, cold damage. Everything is converted to cold damage thanks to this. And cold penetration, very handy, very useful. Scavenging plating, support skills have 35 more skill effect duration. Basically, if we are not attacking anything for too long, we do have a couple seconds to spare to not lose all our stacks on scavenging plating, which is very hard to do, to lose all the stacks, but either way. Physical mastery, just to get this bad boy to level 20. I also have a level 19 gem. I'm too broke to buy myself a level 20 spirit gem. Charge infusion for more armor for endurance charges, as we are still generating the endurance charges, so might as well put this bad boy in. And magma barrier just for the 5 green support gems and for the 30% block chance, which is a passive, not an active, it's a passive. So if you're using the constricting cap, I believe it's over here. Yeah, you get 30% increased chance for block, and for magma bar you get 30%. So you don't have to waste your points for block chance. Very handy. So that's the skills setup. Now we can go to the passive skill tree. What I'm doing here. For our ascendancy, of course, we have to get hulking form. It's just more defenses, more damage, 50% increase effects, which is quite funny because this also does apply to Jills. I do have a Against of the Darkness over here. Gives me 3% chaos resistance, 4% of damage extra as cold. Now, this gives me 4% increased chaos resistance. This is technically 50% more effect of small passive nodes. So very handy, gives me quite a lot of chaos resistance. Gives me like what, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, yeah, 28 chaos resistance for literally one jewel. And I believe I bought this jewel like a week ago. It was 5 divines, wasn't too expensive. Yeah. Over here you have some maximum life regeneration and 50% maximum life. As you know, we need to get tanky. So we taking all the damage nodes. This one over here, 80% increase armor from equipment body armor. Very handy. And see, normally, if you were not running Magma Barrier, you would have to waste 3 points over here. And why would you do that? You can literally put all these points, the 3 points you can put into more armor, you can put in a different place. like to get these two, uh, or even here, get a bit more damage. I've put them, well, here, just to get more movement speed and life. Why not? As I don't think I need more armor from the skill tree. I, so I just went for the life and movement speed. Pathing down here, there are red ones. Allocation for the weapon set is numbers 1. It's going to be your AoE clear weapon set number 1. The green one is your damage. It's going to be weapon set 2 for your bosses. I do have also here another jewel. It's Heart of the Well. Don't have to get the same one. What you're looking for is increase to armor and gain extra cold damage. The +2 attack speed and +1 movement speed. That was just, well, it was cheap. It was 3 divines. I have no idea why would it be so cheap, but I got this also like a week ago. So why not? If I'm getting like 2 more good stats, well, good stats. I think the 1% movement is a waste, and yeah, yeah, I could get a better jewel, honestly. Drop off the increased attack speed and movement speed. I would have something better. Going down here, weapon set number 2, increase attack damage. Going down here, also increase mace damage with maces. Over here, you get some armor. This is quite handy because you're just gonna, well, technically, you're gonna regen your life because recoup is quite, it is healing basically. Over here, you get a little bit more armor. I do have 2 points over here to maximum life regeneration because this does count with our Undying Hate Tech Red as regenerate 1 life per second per 8 life spent. Well, now thanks to these 2 nodes, it's 30% more powerful. So yeah, gonna grab this node with the Undying Hate. And now keep in mind, as I did do a couple builds, I do get this question a lot. Why is my allocation over here different than mine? Because I have Sacrifice of Blood and some people have something different. This is not the only Undying Hate Jewel on the market. There are different ones. What you want to specifically look at is to be Tekrot. Yeah, glorifying the, well, I'm not reading that. Souls in tribute to Tekrot. This is the one you need in order to have the crazy amount of life regeneration. Now, how do you search it? You go to the market. You're looking for your Undying Hate. Why is not searching? Dying Hate. Now you go to the bottom over here at stats filters. Basically just type in Glorifying and you have everything. Tekrot, Uleman, Kulgal, Kulemak, and Amanamo. This is the one you want. I hope that's clear. Damn. I think they dropped on prices because last time I checked there were 9 divines. That's not too bad, to be honest. Yeah, 7 div. Got scammed. I hope that's clear. That you would, if you do actually use this build, you do buy the right jewel, so you don't, scam yourself. It's Tekrot, nothing else. Going further, weapon set number 1, grabbing all these AoE nodes for more clear. On top of that, you're grabbing all this, more AoE. This is quite an interesting one, as strikes deal splash damage to targets within 1.5 meters. It's not really too crazy, but it does kinda help with the, screen explosion when we are doing our Mace Strike, so either way, I'm grabbing these 3 points, so I might as well put 1 point over here. It doesn't hurt me, to be honest. Going further down, some strength. that increases our damage per 15 strength. The reduced maximum mana, we don't really care, as we only use our mana for our Infernal Cry, nothing else. A Giant's Blood so we can use our two-hander with the shield. Further down here, grabbing armor, increase armor, and this also applies to elemental damage. And on top of that, thanks to this jewel, we get chaos resistance, and we get 4% maximum cold damage, because we get the 3% for the small passive notes and the 4% for the notables. And of course, you get more damage over here. And yeah, that's only if you're going to be using the constricting command. If you're not going to use the constricting command, honestly, I don't know how would the rest of these art look like. You might make some changes, but I don't think the constricting command is that expensive. Last time I checked, it was like 6, I think, divines. It's not too bad. Going further down here, a bit more damage while you're surrounded. This one is quite handy because it converts all the evasion rating to armor. We do have some evasion rating for my helmet and the ring. Why not? Over here it's weapon set number 1, AoE, of course. I do have leather bound gauntlets. It basically gives me +1 evasion rating per 1 armor. This is thanks to this jewel, the Megalomaniac. Now this one, it did cost me quite a lot. I think it was 10 divines, as it was the only one on the market that had, because I was looking for some increased block chance at the moment. And I got this one that increases my block chance by 12% and, well, gain 10 life on block chance and maximum block chance. Well, funny part is, now that I have my new amulet, I don't need this, so I'm gonna probably be selling this. But when I'm gonna be selling this, I'm still gonna be looking for leather-bound gauntlets, because this one is just too broken to pass. If you have gloves that have, say, for example, 900 armor, you're getting 900 evasion that you're converting with iron reflexes to armor. So very strong to notes for armor, very strong. Above here, continuing more surrounded tech, more, damage, and quite, 20% attack speed, very handy for our Mace Strike. These little notes, of course, for the life and movement speed, why not? Now I do take this one to just, increase the attributes, as we're using Wind Dancer. That is, I think I have it on level 20. So it's 157 dex, but because of the amulet and because of these 3 notes over here, that's what, 18, 15, 18, 50. Yeah, I'm too lazy to count, but basically it does give quite a lot of, reduced attribute requirement. That's why I have like 106 dex instead of 157. Further, the green, of course, weapon set number 2. I do have a little bit attack speed. This whole part might change in the future. If, for example, I do get gloves that have, for example, it's basically the same gloves, but if I would like drop, for example, I don't know, strength, or even increase attack speed, and I would get 100% increased effect of sockets, and add like 2-3 sockets on these gloves, I would get attack speed. So I might as well drop all this. Potentially I could leave this, because this is 24 increased damage over here as well, some attack speed, 25 increased damage. And honestly, I have checked, don't really want to path over here to just get these useless 15% more increased damage, and going over here is 2 points wasted for aftershocks and just get these ones, as there's not a lot of options, to be honest. Get a bit more damage for weapons number 2, so I might keep this, but in the future I'm definitely changing these 5 notes, definitely. So I do hope I covered everything what's to be covered. There will be future updates when I get a little bit more currency. Uh, the next upgrade that I'm looking for is for this ring, just to get 30% cold resistance, 30% increased damage. But on top of that, I'm looking for a corrupted one that gives me 10% to elemental resistance. It's going to be quite big, because this will allow me to basically get a better armor chest with less resistance but more armor. And for example, I could find something with armor applies to chaos damage. I can just technically just, waste this, not waste, but drop resistance, because I could drop these two runes and get more resistance for something else if I'm lacking. So there will be options. So that's the only upgrade I'm looking for now, and the gloves, of course, to get for a decent price gloves with 100% sockets and at least 2 sockets that I can put in, at least 2. So that's the build. It is very tanky. It does have good life rejuvenation, and it does have quite decent damage. Well, the clear is good, amazing. It's not the fastest build, but overall, I actually do feel like a warrior. There's a base pit that mobs are coming down. You just standing there and Mace striking the son of the bitches all the time, and they're just exploding. Just love it. So that's the build. I do hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next update.